Andrew Walker has joined us from the Carlton Football Club. Andrew, good morning.
Morning, Kevin. How are you, mate?
I'm going great. You've got a huge game coming up against the Hawks, but I was just looking up the statistics. They've won their last 9 games against the Blues by an average of 41 points, so clearly they give the club some difficulties.
Yeah, they've always been pretty good against us, and they're inside that's sort of always had our measure. So it's going to be a massive test for us, especially after last week. We were sort of going pretty well, and it was disappointing to actually go down and once again just have a lapse of concentration for that 15, 20 minutes.
Have they had the wood on Carlton simply because maybe they've had better players or more players available at that particular point of time, or the development of the Blues? Can we read anything into the fact that they've had this great success over Carlton in recent times?
No, look, I wouldn't have thought so. I think our side, we've got an extremely talented side, and it's one thing that really disappoints me is we are so talented, and yet we just, for some reason at the minute, we're just falling short by that those sort of under 2 goals every week. So we've shown that we can match it with the best sides, and I think that we matched up extremely well against Hawthorn, and looking forward to the challenge.
Does Mick put any extra emphasis on games when you play, like a game against Hawthorn, or you play against Collingwood or Geelong, or is it just 4 points?
Oh, it's obviously 4 points to us, and that was one thing that he stressed to us in the meeting this week, was that we threw away another 4 points that should have been ours against Essendon, and we can't afford to be losing games like that. And this week, once again, it's being built up the same as it would every other week, and basically it comes down to the players concentrating for that 4 quarters and putting in a 4-quarter effort.
Andrew Walker has joined us on Hungry for Sport. Andrew, I was also looking at Carlton's form at Etihad. The last 31 games, there's been 18 losses since the start of 2010. A lot of people think, and I know Carlton supporters ring up, that they don't like Etihad. They don't think the Blues actually play well there. I'm not quite certain whether it shuts down your style of play. What is it about Etihad Stadium that you haven't had great success?
Look, I don't think that's true, and it's probably just sort of looks that way.
Bit quirky.
Yeah, when you actually have a good look at it. But I think we've taken measures to make sure that we play better at Etihad, and we're trying to make sure that we play well every week. And we've had some good games there this year. We played the Cats there, and they're probably probably a similar sort of side to Hawthorn in a way that they've been able to have the wood over us the last couple of years, and we thought we played pretty well against them. But once again, we had that lapse of concentration for 15, 20 minutes, and a side like Geelong will get away from you pretty quickly in 15 or 20 minutes, and as will the Hawks if we allow them that 15, 20 minute lapse.
Carlton fans would want to know about Andrew Carazzo. We get a lot of talkback callers and SMSs just wondering when he's coming back into the side. Is he training okay this week? Is he an opportunity to play?
Yeah, I think he is an opportunity to play. He's one guy that's extremely determined, and he'll be doing everything in his power to make sure that he gets back as soon as he can. And when you get there at sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, he's the first bloke that's in the altitude room doing all his work and making sure that his body's that he's speeding up the recovery to make sure that he can have an impact when he comes back.
Andrew Walker has joined us from Carlton. Andrew, your own form this year has been absolutely spectacular. Played mainly as a defender. Probably pretty sad you can't fly for those speckies anymore.
I think I can. I just I'm really enjoying the challenge of playing down on the half back line, and as a defender you got to spoil, and if you go for one of those big marks and it doesn't pay off, well, I wouldn't like to be on the receiving end of one of Mick's sprays. So just really enjoying the challenge of being down there and being a defender again.
But you're playing with enormous confidence. You've always been a good player for Carlton ever since that first game. I think it was against West Coast Eagles as a young boy. I think Dennis Pagan may have been the coach then, and you had over 30 possessions in your opening game of AFL football. But this year, just watching you play this year, there's a maturity about your play. Do you think at the moment this is the best football you've ever played?
Yeah, I'd probably say so. Back in 2003 and 2004, played in the probably the under 18s championships as a off the half back line, and that's what I got drafted for. And I did lose a lot of confidence in my body just through some some terrible sort of shoulder injuries that I just couldn't get on top of, and I was dislocating them week in, week out. So there was no confidence in the body to actually be able to stretch out and spoil, and that's why I thought that a couple of years ago I'd try my luck up forward, and because you can just mark the ball, and you don't have to worry about sort of falling forward on your shoulders as much. And I think out of those 2 years of playing forward, it actually gave me a lot of confidence to sit down with the coach and say, look, I think I'm ready to go back and play off the half-back line, and I think that's where I can be most damaging. And I've been lucky enough that Mick's given me the opportunity this year to go back there and just enjoy playing my natural game, which is sort of trying to break the lines and really enjoying the defensive aspect of the game.
And it is a nice game to play when you're injury-free.
Oh, absolutely, mate. It's you don't get many years where you're injury-free or games, so I'm just feeling reasonably confident with my body at the minute. What
about Brett Ratten? Is in the opposition camp. What information do you think he will give on you and also your teammates?
Oh, that I'm a great bloke, I think.
Runs like the wind, jumps over tall buildings in a single bound, can kick a goal. Mark of the year.
I think he'll have some information on us guys, and he'll have I guess he'll be their opposition coach for the week, and he'll be telling them things that he knows about us. But I mean, we're a completely different side under Mick to what we were under Rats. But I guess that's about it. He'll be able to fill him in on some of what us guys can do and how to defend us.
What about in terms of being a sub? Have you ever been a sub at the start of the game? A lot of talk this week about Chris Yarran not having the right attitude last week. Have you ever been a sub?
I have. When was it? 2011 for the Essendon game. I actually started sub round 3 or 4.
What do players in general think about starting as a sub?
I think the initial reaction during the week is I think for me it was all right. I've basically been made the sub this week. I've got to come on and have a real impact, because majority of people that start subs usually don't get a game the next week. But I was lucky enough that I come on the ground against Essendon, had I think 8 touches in the last quarter and I think 4 or 5 marks. So I was able to play my role, and that's all you got to sort of keep in the back of your mind, that when you're coming on the ground, your job is to be that impact player, because you're going to be the freshest guy on the ground, and if you can't do that, then obviously that sub role isn't for you, which probably means that you're not going to be in the side the following week. So
there's a fair amount of pressure in being the sub, because there's an expectation that you should have an impact when you come into the game.
Well, it's probably the hardest and like you said, one of the more important roles for an AFL side these days, that if it's a close game and you can come on and have a real impact and be that impact player, then it does become a super important role, whether you come on just after half time or just before 3/4 time. It's one of those roles where you just got to really stay switched on, and I can sort of say that it is a hard role to stay focused and come on the ground and have that impact, because you're watching the game sort of unfold from the side of the ground, and it's really hard to stay sort of motivated and focused. But it's, as I said, you just got to keep in the back of your mind that it's probably one of the most important roles that you'll play, coming on and having an impact. Andrew
Walker has joined us on Hungry for Sport. Chris Judd plays his 250th game. What has Judd meant to Carlton, and particularly you as a player?
He's been a fantastic role model for all the young kids, and someone for even myself to learn off. He's probably a real turning point in the when you look back on how Carlton were going for probably my first 5 or 6 years at the club. We sort of sat down the bottom of the ladder for a few years, and when Chris came, he basically had an immediate impact, and basically showed the playing group how to be a proper professional, and just the way he conducts himself out on the field is is something that all our players have learned off, and he's just had an amazing impact on all the players and the coaches.
We should say also that Mick Malthouse is actually celebrating his 850th game as a player and a coach, and it should be an absolute beauty against Hawthorn. Andrew, you've had a fantastic season so far. May it continue tomorrow night as well, and continue on and continue to have a great season for the Blues this year. And I just want to mention to all Carlton fans, Richmond's got more members than Carlton at the moment. Carlton, of course, 1300 Carlton. So the Carlton Football Club has broken its membership record, but is trying to push to 50,000 because, as we know, Greg Swan wants to get to the MCG. So we can say to all Carlton people, be part of Carlton's history. Sign up at iamcarlton.com.au or call 1300 Carlton today and get on board.
Beautiful, mate. Thanks, KD.
Andrew Walker joining us on Hungry for Sport.